Hi, I'm Paul Elam with An Ear for Men, and for this talk, I'm taking some time to speak with the ladies. For many years now, countless women have been asking the question, where did all the good men go? This talk is dedicated to helping those women get an answer to that question and perhaps solve some of their confusion over what to do about it. You will have to pardon the bluntness in what you're going to hear in this talk. I'm afraid the truth of this matter is a sugar repellent. It just can't be coated with sweetness in order to make it more palatable. Put in the simplest terms, the answer to where have all the good men gone is anywhere but around you. And yes, I mean that about any woman clueless enough to have to even ask where the good men went to begin with. In other words, if you got to ask, you're the problem. The mechanics of all this are simple, even if they are a bit ugly. It breaks down into two areas of life, social and political. Socially, you've been trained to think that your vagina is carte blanche to operate in relationships with no sense of fairness or reciprocity. Take a visit to any dating site and you will see what I mean. There's no shortage of profiles from women who actually use the words, "I want to be treated like a princess," and the less obvious but just as caustic, "I want a man who knows how to treat a woman." Even more common are profiles that contain those sentiments even if they don't use the exact verbiage. These women establish their status as whore right in the storefront window. And you really don't know why good men take a sniff of you and do a U-turn? Right about now, some of you watching this will write everything I'm saying off to misogyny. Wrong. First, just so you know, good women can't stand your sorry asses either. There are some really decent women with more to give a relationship than an occasional blowjob and a wish list from Tiffany's. There are enough of the wrong kind of women out there, for fuck's sake, that they've inspired a couple of social movements aimed to either get away from them or just to figure out how to pump and dump them. Let that sink in for just a moment. All of this leaves good women in sort of a pickle. They've been swallowed up in the masses of entitled gold-digging skeezers who are now accepted as the default model of modern femininity. You could lie to yourself all day long about this if you want to. You can even convince yourself that the only reason that a man would reject a high-maintenance woman baby with a $ tattooed on her mons is because he hates women. It won't change the facts. These men don't hate women. They do, however, hate women like you. That hatred is not a product of malice, but wisdom. These men are also frustrated by the fact that early on it can be difficult telling the difference between women like you and adults who might be worth their time. That leaves some really decent women getting blowback because of the rent seekers. Politically, there's another reason that men have stamped reject to your forehead, aside from the fact that you are shallow, selfish, high maintenance, terminally immature, and generally full of shit. That is, you're dangerous. I don't mean broken heart, have a good cry and move on dangerous. I mean gray steel doors, ruined reputation, and ended life dangerous. What's that you say? You don't understand what I mean? Well, let me put it another way. A 4-year-old in a grown woman's body, plus a raging sense of entitlement, plus emotional reasoning, plus a society that lauds this crazy shit in women equals a life-altering accident waiting impatiently to happen. When you really examine the facts on the ground critically, you come to understand that were it not for your vagina, the average man would look at you like a stinging insect, or perhaps a dirty bomb. Women like you are enough to make intelligent men keep a CBR suit in the trunk of their cars. The fact that most men ignore your toxic thorns is their fault. The fact that you have those thorns is yours. Thus this little chat today. Understand, I'm trying to help you here. You're saying you want a good man. It is indisputable that any man who approaches the definition of good would consider a relationship with you like parking on train tracks and taking a nice long nap. Something has to change, and it is not men. So, here's what you do. Go to your profile on Match.com or wherever you are trying to rope in a malleable wallet with a penis and do some editing. Remove all the crap about how special and deserving you are. Gut all the references to princess, real man, and anything else that points to your entitlements. Replace that stuff with what you have to offer. This may be particularly challenging for you, as at this point you don't have a lot going for you in that department. It may be helpful to pretend what you would have to give if you were a grown woman of good values. Even if you don't mean it, put in things like being morally supportive, loyal, reasonable, fair, and consistent. Talk about how you value the sometimes disparate needs evident in any relationship and about your commitment to find rational solutions to conflicts in order to give both sides a fair shake. Then, and this part is real important, look at your profile again and realize you had to lie your ass off to even appear like you were worth the attention of a decent man. That will, or rather it should, leave you at a crossroads. You can revert back to being the real you, worthless as that is, or on the chance that something worthwhile has shaken loose in your head, you can start to figure out that the artificial person you have created in your profile is actually the person you're supposed to be. Not just for finding a man, but for living life as something other than vacuous deadweight, a boil on the ass of humanity. If you follow that path, you will come to yet another crossroads. You will find yourself in the company of other women who also can't stand women like the one you used to be, and you will be frustrated by the legions of low-rent skanks that now serve as role models for our young girls. In fact, you will start asking, where have all the good women gone? Then you will realize that the only way for you to stand out is to stand up. Stand up and talk about so many women who are giving all women a bad name. You do that and you'll have no problem finding a decent man. Don't do it and you will be here next year looking for suckers who respond to your dating profile, looking not for a man but a mark, and fueling the changing attitudes of men who have had a bellyful of women like you.